This is a renovator's dream.
Rebuild, get rid of it.
Are you taking the...
This house has potential.
This ain't a knockdown.
First thing I noticed about the house was just how much I wanted to knock it down.
Look at that
Go.
view!
That. Will they renovate or rebuild?
Hi, you guys. I'm Rosh from Energy Matters. Welcome to our podcast, Road to Zero, where we dive headfirst into all things renewable. Join us as we chat with industry experts, tech specialists, and some of your favorite TV and radio personalities, asking the renewable energy questions that you want answers to. Our goal, a zero carbon future. In today's episode, we're very, very happy to be catching up with Sam Behrens, Managing Director of Northlight Productions and on-site director plus co-executive producer on the hit TV show Renovate or Rebuild. Hey Sam, how are you, mate?
Good, Rosh. Thanks for having me on. Quite a mouthful you got out there, so well done on that.
I like to say I memorised that, Sam, but we both know that's probably not the case.
We'll run it as you memorised it.
Absolutely. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. Look, Sam, we've got a few questions for you today, mate. So, I'm not going to completely put you on the spot, but I know that, since Renovate or Rebuild started and is obviously now on air, we've had heaps of our partners and friends and co-workers coming to us saying, the fact that Energy Matters is on a TV show we love, and we think it's just a really fantastic medium in terms of promoting a zero carbon future and, seeing what's possible in terms of net zero housing. So I've got a whole bunch of questions to ask you in respect to that. And thank you for being a good sport and jumping on today. I really, really do appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to it, mate. Fire away.
Mate, good stuff. Well, the first question I have for you, really, and it's more a bit of a background question. Keen to understand about your journey, your personal journey to becoming a producer of TV shows. How did your journey get to where you are today?
Oh, personally, started fresh out of school, 19, doing some sales for a smaller production company back in the day, and as you know, most people learn on the job while they're working. So after a couple of years of doing sales and eventually realizing you're producing as you're going, we branched out, me and Sean, the editor, and who's done an amazing job putting the whole show together. And we just went out and started our own thing. So we started off with Ready, Set, Reno, a show with Michael and Carleen, who are Team Renovate up in Queensland. That had a really successful season. We kind of always, for that first season, made sure we under-promised a lot and over-delivered for that first one. And it went really, really well. We got good ratings. From there, we carried on with open homes. We're up to 5 seasons of that now. So it's just kind of a natural thing where you really learn on the job and then take that big step. It was a bit hard to take that first step, but once you do, you're rolling.
I was going to say, how did that first step happen? how did you go from, obviously, yourself and Sean deciding, we want to produce TV shows, to then working with Michael and Carleen, who, to be fair, out of the 12 or 13 seasons of the block, they're pretty much up there as, some of the superstars of the block, right? In terms of the work they've done and their exposure. How did you just pick up the phone? Hey, Michael, hey, Carleen, we want to make this TV show.
Well, they had a rough trot on the block on their season, so we got them right off the back of that. And to be completely honest, it was a bit, when we actually started Ready, Set, Reno, I was the, EP on that show heading it while we were working for the old company. And then mid-season, our old boss just kind of up and left to America for some reason. And me and Sean, as we were running the whole show, thought, well, we can't, we were right at the start of production. We thought we started this. Michael and Carleen have just gone through the block. We're not letting them down again. So we just banded together and thought, we're putting a company together. We're just going to get this show out and then see what happens. And then it just worked so much better with just the two of us and the rest of the crew we were working with, as opposed to working for another company. So we realized when you know what you're doing and you got someone else who's really good at what they're creating the show, it's easy in the end of the day. So we just kept carrying on with that. So we were lucky, it was kind of the best thing for us with our old boss leaving, because it gave us the room to grow.
Absolutely. It almost gave you that impetus to say, we love what we do. Let's just go for it and do it.
Exactly. And we've just run with it since, and everyone just gets better and better. And now 5 years later, we got Renovate or Rebuild, which, it's definitely our best one to date. We got some cracking talent in it, cracking partners on there, and it's rating really well. So we're really excited where that's going to go and grow in the next few years.
How did Renovate Rebuild come about? How did you meet James? Where did that project come from?
Well, that was, again, it's all for me. It's all about just having a stab and seeing what happens. We randomly got a tender opportunity for this job. And, we don't normally do tenders. I'm normally out there doing sales and getting partners and making these shows myself. And I thought, this is about sustainability. It's about, they want to make a sustainable show. And me and Sean are both pretty passionate about that side of things. We don't promote it as much beforehand, but now we can. It's great. So I made a big effort to put a good tender together. And James and Rachel, who was also heading that at the time, came back and I think we just had a bit of synergy going on with, they could see we had passion. I could see what they wanted to do, having not stepped into TV before, but I could see the goal and the amazing mission behind it. So I think, we got a tender together. We met along. We did a pilot with Josh Byrne.
Yeah, I remember that. That was awesome, that pilot.
Yeah, and we went above and beyond for that one because we knew that, if we can nail this, we can get this show up and going. And Norman, Jess, and Michael and Carleen were initially the team Rebuild and Renovate. And we were initially planning to have just 8 episodes of those 2 couples going around. But obviously through COVID, we made some last minute changes. Me and James were pretty quick on that to say, and it worked for the best because we got more talent involved. It made it quite exciting. And it obviously helped with those border restrictions that we had all the talent kept in their initial states. But it was one of those silver linings where it worked for the best.
I mean, with everything that happened with COVID, I mean, it was absolutely, it literally was a moving feast, wasn't it? I mean, I just remember that process. It's like one day, it's like, okay, Roshan, we're going to film this. Okay, so there's been a change of plan. We've now added more crew to the team. I mean, inside of that, the question I have there is around the talent. I mean, every single contestant or the talent from, the people we've been working with across the country, I mean, they're all absolutely incredible. I mean, personality-wise, enthusiasm, I mean, they're absolutely brilliant. And you kind of you got a sense of their personalities from the block, but then obviously meeting them in person, it's amazing how down-to-earth they are and how, how easy they are to work with. I mean, how did you go about assembling that team, that cast?
Well, we started with Michael and Carly, and we've worked with them on most of our shows. I got an intro to Jess and Norm through Dave Franklin, our good friend Dave Franklin. You're gonna love Jess. Had the first chat with Jess and met Norm and Jess, and we just got along like a house on fire. They're just great. So we started with those 2 guys. We've worked with, and the thing is, we've worked with a lot of these guys behind the scenes doing some brand stuff. We've worked with Jesse separately. He's been doing hosting for us for Open Homes. We've done some stuff with Beck, but nothing hadn't had a chance to get them on shows. So since I knew a lot of these people, Andy and Deb were ones we got to meet for the first time through this journey, and Jimmy and Tam, having just come off the block, we kind of pretty much these are great contestants that we'd like on the show. We think they're funny, they're in their own right, not just block contestants. We think that they can do more in their own respect. So like you say, you pick up the phone, you call them, and as you met them, they're all so down to earth and chilling to a degree. They're just real people. They don't act like, up themselves at all. They're just real down to earth people. And when they heard, a lot of the really good thing was a lot of them heard the mission and wanted to get behind the mission, creating a sustainable designing future.
Yeah, and they're also enthusiastic about it. I mean, one of the things that blew my mind, every time I turned up on set, to either watch the filming for the day or participate inside of the segments that we had, I mean, they're also respectful. I mean, there's me thinking I'm about to meet Michael and Carleen or Jimmy and Tam or Jesse Mel or Beck and George, and then you rock up and they're gonna I think I remember when we got to New South Wales, Jess, I got there quite late. I think I was there just after 12:30, and you guys had already ordered lunch, and I rocked up on set and Jess just looked at me and said did you bring any lunch? And I was like, no. She goes, here you go. And just ripped off half of her baguette and just gave it to me. I was like, no, I can't take that. She goes, yes, you can. And I was like, oh, what an absolute legend. I mean, just absolutely delightful people to work with.
You didn't take it, did you, Rosh?
I was starving. Mate, I've learned in my life never to turn down half a baguette.
Especially from Jess Eva, that goes down.
Absolutely, and it was delicious.
You're bang on. They're all just absolutely amazing people. Couldn't say a bad word about any of the guys we've worked with. I'd have a beer with all of them outside of work.
No, absolutely. I think I've had a beer with a few of them now. So. Certainly enjoying getting to know them. But really, with filming Renovate and Rebuild, I mean, I spoke to James about it in our last episode, and it was a challenge. I mean, it was a massive challenge inside of the COVID restrictions of being able to travel. But from your
Remember that
perspective,
morning you had, remember that 6 a.m. call when we were heading to the airport? Hey, Rosh, sorry, we're filming in 4 hours, but we've got to go.
yeah. Thanks for that one. I think I was waking up. I was just waking up, and I said, "And where are you?" And you go, "Oh, we just landed in Melbourne." I was like, "Hang on a second, I'm still in the Gold Coast." Anyway, I've forgiven you for that. But but inside of managing that, I mean, I know you're just going to say you took it in your stride, but holy crap! I mean, that must have been a massive, how was it for you?
Oh, it was good. It was fine at the start. Like, we got pretty lucky with the Melbourne filming block. There wasn't really too many restrictions until judging for Melbourne. Queensland was where it started to get a bit hairy. That was when there was, as I mentioned, a couple of days we were on the spot, just having to make those spur of the moment. Are we going to get locked down and then miss more production by filming this shoot and take that risk? It was really every single time one of those things come up, it was a risk and reward. What do we do? And you just got to kind of go with it and hope it's the best option. And I think we did. The biggest issue was the Sydney judging. That was when Sydney just went into a hard lockdown. Until that point, it was pretty much go with the stride. But that point was a big kind of, we want to get, you saw what happened. And we pulled it together. I think we did a really good job of doing that Zoom judging system at the end.
It actually looks all right as well.
Yeah, considering we had everyone remote. We couldn't get a crew anywhere because legally people weren't allowed to film for this 4-week period, but we still need to get it filmed to get it edited for the network. That was by far the hardest part of production. But we were just so lucky. We had Andy and Deb, James Treble, who's just an absolute star, Norman Jess. It was just a really strong group that could hold that Zoom together. So we lucked out with the talent. That's what I would say.
Oh, completely. And once again, when you've got the flexibility of such amazing people, I mean, it can come together. And that's one thing I noticed. I mean, the entire cast and crew, I mean, your team are just so dynamic, but just, in the moment, I mean, they're so composed. And I think that must be one of the things you're most proud of about the Northlight. I mean, what you've created.
Oh, well, it's all about having a good vibe. You want to have good people around you. You want to have a good time. One thing we want is, like, every day you're on set. Office days are different. We all, there's always stresses in the office, but we like to treat every day on set as fun. That we look forward to filming, and we always do. There's never issues. Everyone gets along, and it's fun. You get the job done, and it's fun. That's all. And we like to leave it'd be very rare we leave a shoot without homeowners, talent, everyone going, that was great. Looking forward to the next one. And that's really what we want. So the main thing with our crew is be a good person. Get along.
Yeah, that's fair play. We've certainly got heaps of personality there. I mean, if you look at Renovate or Rebuild as a piece of art or as a TV show, whichever way you want to look at it, what 3 things do you love most about the show?
I would love about the show. The first thing is the energy. We've got so many different dynamic personalities, as you mentioned, from the talent, from James, from all the areas, all the partners like yourself. We've really got a diverse mix of people that have knowledge and energy. So the first part is you get a mix and match. It's never stagnant. You get the same different things every week, different people every week. It keeps it exciting. Secondly, that's what makes the show what people want to watch, I think. Secondly, the main thing is the mission behind it all. It's one of the first shows that's ever really been on a mainstream, and that's what we try to do, because there's a lot of stuff on ABC and SBS, but I like to look at it a bit like you're preaching to the choir. A lot of those people believe the mission already, so it was really exciting to kind of get this on a commercial network where the masses are watching, and it's the masses that aren't really so much converted, for lack of a better word, but starting to then understand, it's not a click where you have to be converted. It's just a thing that you can bring into your life and everyday stuff, and it's popular, and it's what everyone's doing these days. It's what the celebrities are doing these days. So trying to get that into everyone's life is really exciting, and hopefully, there's such an amount of waste in building. If it makes a small difference, it'll make us feel really good about ourselves. I think they're definitely the 2 main things about it. And then thirdly, just really excited to see where it's going to go. It's getting really good ratings at the moment, a lot of eyeballs on it. So we're just excited for season 2. The plan is to hopefully get some builds involved, and that's going to really take it to the next level.
I mean, I was chatting to James about that exactly. If you can actually then move it to one step further to where there is actually a renovation or rebuild happening throughout the season, and at the end of it, you kind of almost see something underway or even something complete. I mean, that would be absolutely insane. I mean, and look, for logistically, I mean, I think, and I've seen some of the feedback, as I say to James, you're always going to get your occasional person on Facebook saying, well, why can't you actually build a house? Logistically, to do that within a certain period of time, I mean, that's not always possible, right? And the block is, got a ridiculous budget, so that's obviously where that comes from. But I think what you achieved out of this season of Renovate and Rebuild already was outstanding. To see how you can take it to the next level is really, really exciting.
Yeah, we're excited. But as you say, that's exactly it. It's a big planning phase once you get the builds in. And credit to Jules and the guys down who make the block, because that's a special skill set to be able to plan something like that. And we're trying to get there. We're learning. That's right now what we are right in the process of is figuring that out.
No, good stuff. I love it. And so on that subject, so I mean, in terms of future projects, I mean, what are you actually going to take from your experiences with Renovate and Rebuild into future shows, like shows that you've got in the diary already that you're going to start producing very soon or already have begun filming, as well as future projects?
Well, honestly, it's really opened our eyes about how much other people are buying into the mission, if that makes sense. And we've realized we can incorporate this into our other shows. So, for example, we're filming season 5 of Open Homes right now, and we're showcasing all sorts of other solar partners. Again, thanks to yourself helping connect us and being involved with the show and being an amazing tech guru who can do the breakdown for us, because I'm the layman. I'm the one that's learning. You're the one that's teaching us. So Open Homes, we're incorporating in there. We've got a best pools show coming up where we're going to be trying to really incorporate, obviously, pools and heating use a lot of electricity. So we're going to try and at least tackle how you can fix that as you go. Renovate Rebuilds coming up. We've got another one in the pipeline next year that it's exciting, but we're just trying to make sure we incorporate something into every show. Renovate or Rebuild, obviously, it's an underlying thing, but if we can touch base on it in all these high-end architectural shows, that's the goal. Absolutely. I mean, and once again, I mean, it's the edutainment factor. I mean, if you're actually making a difference and having people consider that there's a more sustainable alternative in respect to what they were originally planning, I mean, all of a sudden you've made a huge difference. And if you can touch even 10% of your viewers and have them make take on something, then brilliant. It's got an amazing result. So that's fantastic, mate. I love that. And I guess for all of our viewers and listeners out there, I mean, what are a couple of simple things you're doing or your business is doing to move forward towards a net zero future? Well, it's just little things that I had no idea before this show. Like, we've got really dark kind of old 80s house, and I know some people will say, don't say this because it lets extra air leak in. But for example, we've got skylights in the really dark areas. Again, not for all homes because it lets extra air in sometimes, but for really dark homes, now we don't need to keep the lights on 24 hours. For the first time, we're actually looking at star ratings because, like, on appliances, because I learned it does make a difference, And one big one, for some reason, this one is a really good one. Learned about zoning. So, like, just heating specific rooms. Normally, we used to just blast the heater. Because I'm from up north, I used to love, being in Melbourne. I'd be like, I want to be in 30 degrees all the time. But now I'm like, just keep one room 30 degrees and close the door. And it's much better for the bill, firstly. And then if, a bunch of people are doing this, obviously it's going to be good for the planet. Nah, absolute legend. Well, look, Sam, thank you so much for being on today, mate. I do appreciate it. We love working on mate, absolutely. We've loved working on Renovate Rebuild, and we're excited to be working on Open Homes Australia with you. So we're ready to do a bit of filming for that one, which is going really well, and a lot more filming coming up over the next month. So now restrictions have dropped, we can travel again, which is awesome. So excited to be finishing that one with you too, mate. So thank you very much, and you've been an absolute sport today. And thanks so much, Rosh. It's been a pleasure, meeting you and working with you and the team. We've learned so much. So to Energy Matters and yourself personally, can't thank you enough for all you've helped and taught us with over the way. You're welcome. Well, this is the start of a very long and successful relationship, mate. So we'll keep it going in work and on the golf course as well. This will be the throwback podcast at the Energy Matters Road to Zero 1000th podcast. Exactly. Right. Well, before I finish up, just a quick one to all of our viewers out there. Remember, you can get 3 free solar quotes and a free energy bill comparison via our website, energymatters.com.au, or simply follow the link below, which is energymatters.com.au /solar quotes. Following this, you will see
our social media pages. So please feel free to visit us via social media to like us and subscribe to our channels. Thank you all once again. And cheers, Sam. All the best.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
See ya.